This is the Uncensored Man radio show. This show contains adult language and content. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to the Uncensored Man podcast. I'm your host, Corey, and we're just waiting for the good doc to show up. How y'all doing today? Doc joined the room. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday.
I'm doing fine. Just got myself one of those spicy sausage McMuffins from McDonald's.
Oh.
I wanted to try it out and hail.
Yeah, that sounds like a gut bomb. Ooh, that sounds great.
Yeah, it was really good. What are you up to, Captain?
I just made some bomb-ass coffee from Oak Roasters with distilled water and heavy whipping cream. It tastes just like it's from the coffee shop, man. It's...
For what you got going on this weekend?
Well, I finally got motivated. I started working on my house here, my renovation. I have this whole ass project in front of me. I got a home to remodel, and yeah, I just needed to get motivated on it. But yeah, fuck your feelings. Get to work. I just needed to get my ass in gear. I got a bunch done yesterday, but it's basically the whole house that needs done. Everything needs done, inside and out.
Muy bien. Muy bien.
Yeah, it's a big project.
Well,
how about yourself?
Nothing. We got a block party today.
Like just your block or like a church block party or what is it?
No, not a church block party. I don't go to church. It's our block. I've had this girl stay over like every night this week, and she left at like 7 early this morning because she works real early.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have her do the sneak thing that you do to single moms usually. Single dad, where you sneak over to their house like after the kids go to sleep, before the kids wake up. I've been doing that for like 6 days in a row.
That's funny.
I should feel more shame about it, but I don't. I don't feel any shame over it.
No shame.
None. It's given me a chance to watch Love is Blind, like I said, with excuses. I told you I've watched 8 seasons of this fucking Love is Blind show.
Okay, I'm looking this show up.
With
what the hell?
With 12 different chicks, probably.
Oh my God.
I haven't watched it 8 times through. I'm just saying, like, as the seasons have come out, I'm with someone new. Love is Blind. It's a good show to watch with a chick because you see how the bitches behave. And then you ask her about it, like, what do you think about her saying that? Doesn't that seem like kind of disrespectful? Or what do you think about this girl saying she like had her hoe phase and her hoe phase is over? Like, have you ever had a hoe phase? It's a low key way to like get background info on girls because girls always tell on themselves.
Shit.
Yeah, so it's a good strategy. It's a hilarious one too. Not only that, it's entertaining because now they got Love Is Blind like Mexico and Argentina, and that gives me a chance to practice my Spanish too. So that's fucking based as well.
Seriously, it's a Netflix series.
Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't heard of it.
Well, I don't have Netflix. I haven't really watched a lot of TV over the past few years. Like, I mean, I hate to say it, but like, it's almost like I just barely watch TV anymore, probably because I'm on my phone, which is not necessarily a great thing. But yeah, it's like hard for me to get my attention onto anything now. Like,
I hear you. I hear
I
you.
mean,
That's
I'm
why I
just
read
being
every day.
honest.
So I just got my copy of Barry Strauss's The Trojan War.
Oh,
So that's a nice little book I'm going to read.
the Trojan War,
Trojan War, yeah.
Barry Strauss.
I'm reading it as a background to the Iliad. No, the Iliad by Homer, the Homeric poem. It's supposed to tell the story of the last of the 10 years. The Trojan War apparently lasted 10 years. The Iliad takes place in the last year of those 10 years. And obviously, a lot of it's mythology, but I wanted to get some of the background, cultural, military history information. It's hard to get history that's well done before the 7th century BC just because of the writing systems and stuff.
Interesting.
Bronze Age history is hard to find. So, yeah, it is.
This is what you're into.
It's what I'm into. It's what I'm into. I'm rereading all the early Greek philosophers. So, if you read Greek philosophy, like early classical philosophy, you got to start with the mythology actually, because they reference mythology, and so you don't actually know any of their allegories and stuff without knowing the mythical background.
Right. It's interesting.
I tried explaining that to the chick who I'm seeing. Like, she's like, "Oh, what's that book about?" And I almost verbatim just said what I told you, and she's like, "Oh, that's like interesting." I wanted to play that soundboard music, that like cricket soundboard music. But
You've got
no,
some wind there.
I do. She was bothering you. I'll move into the garage.
The cause of the war may well have been the kidnapping of a queen, and more significantly, the seizure of her royal dowry.
They didn't care about her. They just cared about all the money that went with it.
Mm-hmm.
It was also pride thing. Women were just property back then. Like in the beginning of the Iliad.
You know, I think
In the beginning of the
this is what I
Iliad.
say all the time.
What?
Oh, how women used to be property. I always joke around with women, like, yeah, we should just make women property again. It's funny to see the
Well,
reactions.
in the beginning of the Iliad, like they're pretty much the whole story is based around the fact that one of the Greek kings named Agamemnon, he loses, he steals he basically steals someone's wife from Troy. Then the gods tell him he has to return her. And then this king goes to Achilles, who's also a Greek warrior, and says, well, since they're taking, this wife I stole, I'm going to take the wife that you stole. And then that pisses Achilles off. He almost kills him. But it doesn't piss him off because it's like, hey, you're stealing my bitch. It's more like you're stealing my property and you're humiliating me. It's like they don't give a fuck about the woman, really.
Wow.
It's more about just the honor and shame side of things. And then the other thing is all throughout the book, you see the kings constantly like trade their daughters and stuff.
That's crazy, huh?
No, it's not, because that's how the world worked for like up until about 200-300 years ago.
It's just crazy to us.
Yeah.
People trading or
Here's the-
selling their children. Wow.
Well, not selling really. I mean, people did that too, but more like, here, you can take my most beautiful daughter, and then our families are united politically and economically. So the women were there to kind of like extend the family, you know?
Sure.
That was the whole point of marriage. Marriage didn't have shit to do with romance.
No.
You could even argue it was much healthier when it wasn't romance based. I mean, you look at other cultures like Indians, there are a lot of Indians.
We lost you, Doc. You cut out? We lost the Doc. He's in his garage. His Wi-Fi cut out on him. He was going to say something about the Indians.
You there, Court? Sorry about that.
There you are. We lost you for a good 30 seconds there.
My bad.
Yeah, you're cutting in and out.
Can you hear me clear now?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So what I was saying is a lot of Indians where I went to residency, like from India, people from India,
Mm-hmm.
they still get arranged marriages.
Oh.
And they work for the most part. I mean, I haven't seen a single one of them divorced. I think statistically they do work well.
That's wild. I'm not a big fan
about it.
Not a big fan of India, just because that's the only place I've ever got scammed from. It's like, no, I've been scammed so many times from India.
Oh, well, crypto's full of Indian scammers.
Yeah, not just crypto, but like, I mean, anything I've done, I've like tried to do like programmers, web programmers I've hired, and they didn't necessarily scam me, but they kind of skimmed me.
What,
They
like
really
off
did.
of Fiverr or some shit like that?
Yeah, maybe I met him. I'm not sure how I got him, like through Upwork or Fiverr, but I mean, I probably paid these guys like $17,000 over the course of a year to build a website, and then it just never even worked right. Like, God, I could never get them to like just.
Well, that's like
complete the task.
that's like a trope, the Indian scammer. You know. Hello.
As far as I'm concerned, they're all scammers. Because any dealings I've had with them, they just scam people.
Do you have a monologue or something? You can. I just have to grab something from Glenn.
Okay, Glenn.
Yeah, he's dropping by this morning.
Our Glenn.
Our
Glenn. No way.
Our Glenn. I'll be back in like 2-3 minutes.
Oh my gosh. We should have Glenn on the show one of these times. He'd be a great guest. My buddy Glenn. We both know this guy. He's like, I call him Top G because he's just a cool dude. I don't know. He's like the Glenn father. He's like a father to many boys. I don't know. He's very compassionate, helps a lot of guys out. He's pretty cool. He can be a prick though. I've heard him get pretty angry. But I miss that dude. There's a few guys that I like, but I've had almost every dealing, and I'm not going to say like it's a lot, but like I got skimmed for quite a bit of money from India. Like I've lost thousands of dollars to India, like a way of life. They don't, it's just like a job for them. They don't even care. I don't get it. I could never be like that. I don't know how you could just like scam people as a way of life. They like wear it as a badge of honor if they scam an American. I suppose if I got a certain bias towards a certain people, I could probably start scamming them. I don't know. Like, you do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Like, how can you? Karma's a bitch. I feel like they're getting their karma. I don't know. I wouldn't want to live in that filthy country, but one time I thought I wanted to go visit it. The more I know and the more I see, the more I something on India Mart. I was like, damn, I need this. It was like the deal I was looking for. I don't even remember what it was, but yeah, the guy, I made the mistake. I sent him like $400 in Bitcoin, and then they kept like leading me on, like, oh, now I was like, all right, send it. And then they're like, oh, but now we need shipping insurance, and that's going to be like another $700. And I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, you motherfuckers, this is a scam. I should have known. Anyways, I never sent them any more money. I came close, but man, my blood was boiling. I was even contacting a couple contacts that I know in India. Like, I was going to pay them to go research the situation for me, but nothing ever came of it. Not cool. Man, if I could just get back all the money from India right now, I could take a nice vacation. But, anyways, so Doc and I started the show. It's just been like almost 2 weeks now, and I'm working on getting it onto all of the podcast. All of the major streaming apps like YouTube and Spotify and Amazon, iHeart, Apple. So this is just going to take a minute. But anyways, this is our first attempt at distributing a podcast. So we use Podbean. Let's see how this works. I would recommend it. The only thing I don't like about Podbean though is like I don't see like an easy way to edit your episodes. It says you can edit them, but like the editing feature, I don't know. Not going to say anything real positive about that because so far it seems like a royal pain in the ass just to make a few clips. But anyways, yeah, I guess the reason I started this podcast like, about a year ago. And it was just, it's like an idea that came to me, the Uncensored Man, because like I've been watching a lot. I've been inspired by a lot of like Andrew Tate and, the like shows like whatever. And I don't know, just like all these podcasters. But, censorship, it just got so heavy. And it's like, I just want a show where we can just be uncensored and talk about whatever it is, whatever the fuck we want to talk about, without getting shut down. And I mean, obviously, there's always the possibility that we could get banned, but I just want a show where guys can come in and or women too. Like we can have women on the show too, but you can come in and talk about, just whatever. And all the guys that I've talked to about it, they're just like super interested. And yeah, man, like let's get this show going. And I want to be on it. And I've got this guy that's interested. And as soon as I talked to Doc about it, I mean, he had the same feeling and he just wouldn't let it go. He's like, we got to do this show, man. So yeah, I'd say like a couple weeks after I told him, we started our first episode and we're like, we're newbies at it, but I think we're doing great. And I think this is going to be a great show. Doc's got some experience with he's done a lot of live radio shows. So he's been on a talk show before. In fact, he got offered to go full time, which he talked about in some of the previous episodes, but we're kind of like good cop, bad cop, I think a little bit. We definitely have some differing views on things, but which is great, because we're not going to agree on everything, but yeah, I would say I lean a little bit more conservative and he's definitely, he's the toxic doc. I love it. But anyways, I don't know. Men go through a lot. And I'm not saying that women don't go through a lot, but it's just really tough, for guys, as a divorced man with 5 kids, like I barely made it out of that alive. I'm not going to lie. It was the most suicidal time of my life. I didn't want to be around, I woke up for 5 years straight, not wanting to live, I mean, it's just, you don't really have a lot of rights. You find out real fast, like, whoa, and it just takes the wind out of your sails. Just not having your kids every day, I guess. And, my kids were my world. I loved my kids. So to not have them every day was just, it was very devastating to me. And there was really not much I could do about it because I had to go out and just work my tail off because I instantly got behind on child support because they based it off of a previous income from another state where I was working and making a lot more money. And now I'm in this small community where, the pay isn't even half what it is. So I got behind right away. I was threatened with my driver's license to be taken away from me. And my earning power was just so much lower because my outlook on life and my spirits were down. I just could not like find a good job. I don't even think I was very employable, to be quite honest. Like I was like mentally ill from all this. Not cool. I'm doing pretty good today. This is about 12, 13 years, maybe it's 14 years down the road now. Anyways, 4 of my kids are out of high school. I have 1 left in school and somewhat estranged from some of them. I did get to raise my son though, which was a good thing. He's like my lifeline for sure. Yeah, my kid's a rock star. He's my rock. He's been there by my side this whole time and just been with me through a lot of shit and a lot of toxicity. But he's a trooper, and hopefully I'm getting less toxic because that made me a very toxic. I mean, maybe I was toxic, but it made me a very toxic person for a while. I'm not gonna lie. And I can see that. I got very angry and yeah, I didn't know how to cope. I mean, how do you deal with something like that? You know, I drank a lot and just went down a dark hole with my drinking and got in a little bit of trouble with that. And I ended up in Celebrate Recovery for about 5 years and went through like this program. And I was there like every time they had a meeting. Like it was like every Friday, and then they started this step study, and I was going to the steps. And I still believe in church and like the Bible and scripture. I'm very based in that, but doctor, he's not so much into that, but that's okay. We have a little different point of view on that. I still firmly believe in my roots, and there's a good reason why, I believe all wisdom comes from the Lord. But for whatever reason, I went through that time and that trial, and I didn't seem to, it just didn't feel like I was getting any help at all from God. And I definitely walked away from my faith for a time there. And I didn't think I would ever get it back, honestly, because I just felt like I had lost everything as a man. And I was just completely stripped of my manhood, like my masculinity, just what do you call that? Emasculated. It's not a cool feeling, but I'm getting my confidence back and I'm feeling a lot better about myself. I've paid up on my child support, even though there's still a little bit past due. Like it's almost paid off, and I can't even get a passport to leave the country because of the past due amount, which whatever. It just mind how they can, like, men lose their lives. Women, most of the time, they don't. They go on, they find another man immediately that helps pick up the tab, and they've got Section 8 child support, maybe. A lot of these gals don't get child support though, but I've always paid mine for the most part. I went through a little period of struggle there in the beginning, but I've paid every month like clockwork on time. And I see these guys losing their driver's licenses and they haven't even had them for years, and like they've been paying, but they just got so far behind at one time. Maybe they went through a low point in their life, and they're unemployable and addiction, and then yeah, they just lose their license and now they have to drive. Like even years later, I know guys that are just driving illegally because what the fuck are they going to do? They got to go to work, They're just trying to, like, one guy in particular, I know I'm not going to say anything, names or like suggest who it is or whatever, but I mean, they're just like, yeah, one more year, I'm getting my driver's license back. Like, this shouldn't even be a fucking thing. Like, if you've been paying on it for a time and you're doing good, like, come on, seriously. But, if you're a guy, if you're getting the divorce papers handed to you and you've got kids, I mean, some guys, maybe you're going to do okay, but most of you, it's going to be a rough patch. You might think you're okay right now, but shit's going to get real, real fast. And that's where I was at. I was like, oh, okay, I'll be fine, and like a month later, I was not fine. I was like, oh my gosh, that desperation of just sitting there without your kids all the time, like knowing that they're just like, and who knows what they're being told and who's around them and like the influence, like, yeah, it's crazy. And then to think, well, I got to go to work tomorrow, and how can I go to work while I'm feeling like this and thinking these thoughts and fucking A. is not a great place to be. Any man that's going through that needs to get in with some people, like a group, like I did. Celebrate Recovery was a great place for me to hang out. I mean, if it wasn't for that, I don't know where I'd be, honestly. I don't go anymore, but I think they they preach the promise, like God's going to do this and do that, and I just didn't get the promises. I didn't feel like I saw all these crackhead moms getting their kids, and it's like I'm being a good sober dad, and I'm really like doing well, and I can't even hardly see my kids. But then there's like these crackhead moms that'll just be like completely fucking up, like probably should never have kids, and here they are. They've got their kids back, and I'm just a good, clean cut dad trying to get some time with my kids, and it's just not working, like basically just because I don't have any money and I have to work all the time and I don't have a nice place for them to come to even, like what the hell? It's crazy. I don't know, but I'm not complaining. I just know what it's going to be like for a lot of you that are listening to this, that if you're going through something like that, you're going to need to pull yourself up by the bootstraps and hold on. You're going through some dark times. There's just no way around it. You're going to have to dig out of the shit. It's going to take some time. But this is why I'm here, And as you come out of these relationships, you're going to be looking for another one. If you've been married for any amount of time, you're not like used to dating or like having to look for a partner, but you're going to want one because that's what you're used to. And that's, yeah, that's a whole nother chapter. Like that's another story. But you're very vulnerable. And I made a lot of mistakes and got with like some very narcissistic women. It just did not. And it was just like some situations that made me feel worse than even the divorce itself. So it was like compounding the pain that I was going through. I remember this first breakup that I had from this very narcissistic chick. I mean, it took me like a year to recover. I work with a lot of guys or I have worked with, and I still work with guys that are recovering from breakups because, like, for a guy, it's just like absolutely devastating. Because guys, when they go in, they go all in, like immediately, and they just give their entire soul, self worth, and their everything to a woman, because they're cucked. Most guys are just cucked. And yeah, so it's just very painful, but it just seems like the women, they just like move on and bounce right back, and that hurts us even more, it's like painful to watch them move on so quickly. So most of, I mean, honestly, I've had quite a few long periods of just singleness. And I was told that, like by a dear friend, a trusted friend, like you should just be single for a while. And of course I didn't heed his advice, and I got myself through like several painful relationships that were just like women that just really could not bond. They've been traumatized or they've had just way too many relationships and they just really don't know how to bond. I mean, I was ready to bond, but apparently they weren't because they can't. But I've learned to see that, I think. Anyways, and now I'm just rambling on, but this is probably 5 years out from Celebrate Recovery, and that was just something. A lot of people say, "Oh, I'm working on myself." It's like, how are you working on yourself? And you know, they're really not. It's like, "Oh, I do some affirmations, or I've changed my attitude or my way of thinking." Like, well, if you're going to change your life, you're going to have to change your actions. Like you need to do some things that are going to give you some discipline, like what we would do in the program. I mean, you're doing work because you're putting yourself around a positive influence once a week at a meeting, and you're talking about things with trusted friends. You're getting feedback from other people about their life experiences. And so iron sharpens iron. And then you start doing like inventories where you're writing things down, and you're talking about all of your hurts, habits. This is what they call it, your hurts, habits, and hangups, and you're getting it out and you're putting it on paper, like that's working on yourself, right? You're going through these steps, a process to, fix. I don't know if it's really fix, but to help you. There is a plan. But anyways, if anyone is listening, and they just need someone to talk to, I'm always available. I'll probably, just leave a comment and I can reach out to you. You can leave comments on our show here on the Podbean app. I'll be happy to talk to you as I have the time. But yeah, I'm always talking to guys that are going through breakups or relationship hurts and just trying to help them. I've got a lot of experience. Doc, he'll probably just tell you, like, fuck your feelings, go to work. That's all right. He's a G, but he's a good guy and he's helped me out quite a bit. So there's a lot to that, just fuck your feelings, get to work. The biggest thing you can do as a man is, like, if you're not working and you're just like couch surfing or hanging out on your couch all the time, flipping through the episodes on Netflix or just doom scrolling on your phone all day, and you're not accomplishing something, like, you cannot feel good about yourself. As a man, you cannot feel good about yourself unless you're accomplishing something. You have to be productive in some way or another. Even if it's not your life's purpose, that's okay. You can find purpose in the things that you do every day. It doesn't matter what you're doing or where you're working. You can always find purpose in what you're doing. You can be a better employee, even if it's just for a time or a season. You don't have to be. And I think this is a big holdup for a lot of dudes, is that they just want to find their life's purpose or go work in their passion. And I still haven't found mine yet. Maybe I'll get to that someday. But I found some work that I like and I'm very passionate about it, and I find purpose in it every day. I just try to find purpose in every day's work. And that's how you can get to feeling better, like, about yourself. But if you don't have something to find some purpose in every single day, you are going to be depressed, right? You're not going to feel okay about yourself. I was talking to Doc about using this show to help other guys, because I really feel like I have a lot to offer men. And, I feel like I've gained a lot of help from podcasts and different shows and man shows. And I really do think we can make a difference, I mean, just hearing other people's stories and what they've been through. Like, maybe you don't have advice for me, but, like, when another man is honest about his problems or, about what he's done to get through those things, it helps me. Like, it may not give me an answer, but it might give me enough strength or power to get through today, right? And that's what we have, one day at a time. It's one day at a time, guys. All you got to get through is today, right? And if you're listening to this right now, you're struggling, someone's hurt you. I think that's the premise of this, is just we've been hurt, and we need to, men are under attack for sure. Like, men have less rights now than ever compared to women. Like, women have the women's rights movement and women's empowerment, and, like, oftentimes men get completely fucked, right? Like, there's no doubt about it. That's why we have all these women advocates coming out, advocating for men and men's rights and men's mental health. Why are women doing that? Seriously, why do they even care? Because they see it. We got people like Pearl Davis and some others, but she's just the first one that comes to mind. But there's many that are advocating for men. Doc calls them trad women, but I don't know. I just think it's women that are, I mean, I don't think that all of these women are, what do you call that? The pick me. A lot of people call Pearl Davis the pick me woman, but I don't see that. I just think she's trying to be helpful, but maybe she goes a little overboard sometimes. But there's a lot of great women that are even less controversial than her, doing a great job. But I'm just here to advocate for men. And, I think we have a lot of understanding women out there, but men just need a lot of help. And I hope this show can help someone. And if it does, just please let us know, and click the follow button, whatever platform you're listening on: Apple, YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, Podbean, iHeart. Yeah, wherever you're coming from, just let us know where you're from and where you're listening from, and what we can do to help. And just want to say thanks for listening in. I'm probably going to cut it short because it sounds like the doc had to leave, but we'll be trying to do a podcast episode like every day as much as possible, bringing on guests. That was one of my goals for this podcast show, was to bring on different guests, as many as possible, and just hear different men's perspectives from different walks of life that have been through different trials and, breakups and whatever. Just the things that we struggle through as men, and maybe bring some cool women on too, just hear some different thought, different ideas, and maybe just some cool stories to bring. So stay tuned, and we'll talk to you guys soon in another podcast episode. So give us a follow, and thanks for listening. And have a great day.
This is the Uncensored Man radio show. This show contains adult language and content. Listener discretion is advised.